All right. So let's talk about the solar singularity theory. And I've already done like 6 videos on it that I did with the AI to actually put in the visuals and all that. But I still didn't think it was super clear, and I saw a lot of people didn't watch those videos, which I thought were awesome, by the way. But so if you know my work, you know that what I talk about a lot are the different types of stars, and I had made 3 categories of stars. The third one just being like a couple weeks ago when I had the realization about the quasars being on the other side of the black hole. But so the first one I always talk about is the suns that look like our sun, and what I always tell you guys is, the reason that we see the sun that we do is because it's a direct reflection from a black hole that is hitting the plasma field. All right, and plasma is like water, but it's a different consistency, and it works differently. But plasma itself is essentially a form of water. So that's why our sun is an exact circle. When you look at other stars like Polaris, that are all these like cymatic shapes, right? They look like they're in the water, and that's because they are the dark waters. But that's what the ether is, the void. But so I knew that our sun, or I assumed, actually I believed it extremely strongly, that our sun was just the reflection, or it's the black light coming directly from the black hole. And what happens is that when it intersects with the plasma field makes it like matter type, because without the plasma field, we wouldn't have a sun there. We wouldn't be able to see it because there wouldn't be anything to reflect off of it. And so plasma, if you think about it, it's not real solid. It can move, right? You would think of it being a thicker consistency. But so when we see our sun and we see that perfect circle, I knew that it was coming from the black hole. And then, so I was starting to think about binary stars, and I was thinking about how it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense in my model that they were tied together harmonically, because ours comes from a black hole, so how could theirs come from a black hole too and be connected and moving? And so then and a black hole is like where everything is, like all the potential of any possibility ever. And so that is what is coming out of it. Okay, so every realm has it's a torus, right? And it has like these membranes and stuff around it. And so when the sunlight hits that, I saw that. And then so I started thinking about the zodiac, and I thought, well, maybe it's the black hole is intersecting with these other plasma fields, right? And that is the star that we're seeing. And so I first thought about it as like the zodiac, and I thought maybe there's like one main star on each one. And then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense. And then so I kept thinking about it, and then I realized that it was all the stars in the galaxy, and it's just in one galaxy. So every galaxy has its own toroidal field that would encompass all of the systems within that galaxy. And then a universe is combined with a bunch of different galaxies. So, but it's all in like these like big, it would just be a bigger and bigger and bigger field, right? That's why it looks like space goes on forever. But so then I was like, okay, so all these other star systems that we see everywhere, the only way because if you think about it, our singularity, in the middle of the galaxy, right? Like just like the Milky Way, for example, right? In the center of it, that is where the singularity is. That's where the pumping of the heart is, just like your heart. And it was just a few weeks prior to that that I realized we were on the implosion side of the black hole. So then I realized all of these different realms and worlds are all coming from the same source, because that source is the singularity in the middle of the galaxy. That is the primordial womb. And so I realized that all of the light that was coming off of there, and think about, we live on like this plane of existence. When you see like pictures, it's not like the Milky Way galaxy is super spread out. It almost looks like it's on like a plate type of thing, right? And so it was going around. And so I realized that every star system, all the light was coming from this singularity. And like I've told you before, when black light reflects off of water or plasma, it turns into white light. And that's why we have a white light sun. So then I was like, and the more and more I thought about the structure of everything, I was like, there is only one sun. And the one sun is in the singularity, in the center of the galaxy. All other stars in the galaxy that we see all get their light from the black light of the singularity of the black hole sun. All the same thing. And so that is pretty much the shortest version that I can give. But I wanted you to be able to visualize it in your mind, because I didn't think the videos really went into detail as much. So then the other things I had been working on that you guys know about, that have been watching me, is how each realm has a, we see these symbols in the zodiac as, just symbolic star stuff, but they're all specific tone frequencies. They're specific octaves. And so like I had told you, when we incarnate into the world, your soul has certain things it wants to work on. And so you'll do these different stories of these different archetypes, and they're actual energies that come from the realms in those zodiac constellations. Earth is the meeting point, and that's why it's the heart, right? It's the anagram of it. But it's the middle point for all the frequencies to meet. And so we get to be and live all these different lives. And so each archetype has different things it has to go through. And the question is, can you raise your octave? So despite all the troubles, all these things that happen to you in your life, can you still raise your octave to go on to the next one, right? But these when we're in these different specific zodiac signs, when we're coming from those, trying to work on ourselves. So if we have a tendency to get angry quick, maybe we're going to go into a body that is going to get angry. It's going to have those types of attributes. But, and I'm going to get so much more into all this stuff. But essentially, so it's all harmonically done. It's all pure architecture. And I understand it all now and can explain everything to you. But so now if you go back and watch those videos that I've done, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I see. Or just in your mind, draw a line from the black hole to so from the singularity in the center of the galaxy, in your mind, draw a line to every single star that you see, and all the ones that are exactly perfect circles that are direct reflections of the black hole. And that's how you'll be able to discover it. Now I'm going to do a couple other videos after this, I think, on the the solar singularity theory. And then I already have like 12 different other videos already ready to go. And I'm going to show you things that no one's ever told anyone. I'm going to show you things the questions that you've always wondered since you've, like, what are we doing here? What is this place? How do all the lives work? How does everything happen? How is the earth actually made? I'm going to tell you everything, and it's going to be all new information that I couldn't have got from anywhere else except up there. Have a great night. Namaste.